Hi everyone, hope you're doing great. It's been a while since I had a session like this, like something that I was really talking about and not a Q&A. So it's great to be doing one again. Today is about negotiation because this is such a big thing that everyone keeps asking about. I mean, everything is a big thing, honestly. There are many questions about every single thing. But negotiation is still very tricky, I guess, because it's so different. And even if you ask somebody help for it, they can't really guide you. And if you ask me, also, I can't really tell much without, actually knowing everything. So I just thought I would talk about it a little bit and, like how do you negotiate, when do you negotiate, things like that, get that out there. And so, yeah, maybe this will help you negotiate better with your clients. So, again, it's the same thing. I have a small session. I'll talk a little, I'll share my points. You can keep asking questions, and I'll answer all your questions in the end of the live. So, that's how it'll go. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you keep the questions like relevant to today's topic, that is negotiation with clients, that would be great. So, I guess I'll begin in a few more minutes, waiting for more people to show up, I guess. So, yeah. Other than that, some other news, everything's getting updated now, everything's getting final with the ebook. I have severely underestimated what goes on into creating one, what goes on into doing everything surrounding an ebook. So, this is something new. And I'm excited to show you what's getting ready because there's a lot of hard work into everything, even the cover. I know the cover page took so much time to make, the title took so much time to figure out. The whole ebook, of course, took a lot of time to write. And then designing it, putting it together, and actually making it come to life so that you can all read it. It's it's a thrill, it's a roller coaster, and just trying to get things done on time. That's it. So yeah, so now we can, I guess, begin with the session. So today is all about negotiation. So I don't really, again, today also I don't really have okay, three things to do and three ways to negotiate. There's nothing like that. And that's mainly because, negotiation is different for each client, each person, each writer, each content creator, each freelancer, because negotiation depends on so many things that are broader than just the client and their decision to pay you a certain amount. So I'll talk about all of that. So first, like, let me just talk a little bit about this whole process of communicating with your client, sharing your rates, and getting the scope of work. So normally how I how I speak to prospects is that they come to me and they share that, okay, we want some, are we looking for a writer for some articles, can you do that for us? And then I always first of course get a very clear cut scope of work, things like how, what kind of topics will the articles be about, in the articles, what should be the word count, how many articles do you need in a month, things like that, so that I can then give a figure and I can estimate everything, whether I can do it or not. And then I quote. So let's say we're talking about a monthly engagement of say 10 articles, and I'm saying 10,000 for that. So my quotation is 10,000 rupees for 10 articles in a month, right? So now here there are many ways you could go into. I know negotiation normally seems like something wherein you're reducing the price and you're trying to meet the best sweet spot where everyone's happy, you're happy, the client's happy, everyone's happy. But it's very difficult to get there. So you have to kind of in this case you have to kind of think of many other factors that are not just the price itself. So if I'm talking about say 10 articles in a month for 10,000 rupees, and the client says, okay, the client says this is too high, that's the first option, that they would be like, okay, this is not something we can afford, can you reduce it? That's the first option. They ask you, you tell them your rates, and then they say, okay, we can't work on this or we can work on this, and then you proceed accordingly. So one is of course the very common reduce, we can't really pay that much, so let's not work together kind of thing, whatever. So that's very common. That's something you can choose to take up, you can choose to not take up. But then there is something else, to negotiation. There are different ways and tricks that you can make the negotiation still work in your favor, and also in a way that benefits your client. So, something I would always recommend in terms of offering any service is to kind of increase the scope of work if you want to get paid more. So, say the client, now I've coded for 10 articles, I've coded 10,000 INR, and the client is saying, okay, we cannot afford 10K right now, can we do it for 8K? So that's something I could consider, because it's a 2K difference, it's fairly okay, maybe I can do it, and I might consider it. And so I will be like, okay, let's close it at that. Maybe the client says that, okay, no, I can't even do 8K, I can do 5K. So now that's a quite a leap, right? So now that's from 10K to 5K, that's a 50% discount, and that's for 10 articles. And that's not something you want to offer. That's not something you're okay offering. That's not something you think is okay. That's probably also not something that the client thinks is okay, but that's their budget for the moment. So in this case, what you can do is, how to make it work in your favor is you reduce the scope of work as well. And this is something that I've never heard from anyone else. I've never heard someone say that, oh, they said that they would pay less, so I reduce the scope of work. I've never heard that. And I have been doing that. I have been working with that, and it's actually working out really great for many clients that I'm working with even now. So if they have a budget of say 8K or 5K, like I said in the example. So if they have a budget of 5K and I quoted 10K, and I cannot do 10 articles for 50% the price, what I can do is I can tell them, okay, let me do this. I can offer you 6 articles in a month for 5K. I can offer you 5 articles or 6 or 7. So whatever number you feel is okay and that justifies, you're okay working with. You should be comfortable with that number. So if you're okay with it, reduce the scope of work and make it match the budget. And it doesn't always have to be the other way around. So you can kind of change the frequency of the scope of work to match the budget that your client has. Another thing that comes in here is when you're when you're trying to match the budget again, it's a question again that should you really take it up? Is this really worth the hassle and everything? And is it really still something you want to do? And this is something like you should definitely ask yourself whether you're comfortable taking it up for a discounted rate, whether you're like completely okay with it, whether you are not, you're not going to change your feelings towards the client. You're not going to let it affect your work, because that happens sometimes. If the client is paying too less, you have a certain kind of resentment towards working for them. You just want to try to get done with it quickly, or you just don't enjoy working with them because you're not getting paid what you thought you would be getting paid or wanted to get paid. So in that case also, you should be careful. If it's something that you don't think works for you, don't do it. Just give it up and move on. That would be best for you and the client. Another thing that the client says while negotiating is, this is going to be a long-term project, we're going to have you write more for us, things like that, so can you give us a discount? Very common again. Everyone says that, we just do it now for like 5K. After 3 months, once we're making profit and whatnot, we'll pay you the whole amount. The thing here is again that you could agree. So I have agreed. I'll tell you very honestly, I have agreed to do a lot of work for I've written landing page for 2,000 rupees. I've done that because the client said that they really needed someone to write it. They had gotten it done by someone else and it wasn't working for them. And they said 2K. And I was like, that's not possible, really. That's not possible at all. But I thought it was worth a shot. So I did it for them. I had some resentment while working for them for a certain amount of time. But then I realized it's my work. I have to do it. And I chose to take it up. I could have said no. I chose to take it up, so I cannot hold it against them. And so I did the work. So it was literally 2,000 rupees for an entire landing page copy. So that happens sometimes. And then again, if I look at that particular incident or that particular experience, there was no long-term benefit to it. I knew it was going to be just a one-time thing. I knew that it was it's not going to be recurring. I knew that this is not going to amount to something bigger or anything, but I still did it because I was fine with it. Like, I didn't have any issue. I had some time, I could get things done, so I did it for 2K. So that's fine. If you are comfortable with it, again, it's fine to negotiate in that sense and to do it for whatever fee you're comfortable with. Do it that way. um I was going to say something now, I feel. Okay, so that's for how you can kind of understand and decide whether you want to work on something or not. It largely depends on whatever like your intuition tells you. I shared a screenshot yesterday itself, where I talked, where somebody had messaged me and said that the client is saying that they're a startup, and they want me to um, pay charge them less and they give them discount so that they can pay me later, and it's a long term work. The client has said that it'll go on for 1 year at least, so I will be making enough money over the months and everything like that. In this case, again, it comes down to your intuition, because again, two scenarios. First is that what I did with the client, where I worked for 2000 rupees for a whole landing page copy, that was a one time thing. So it's not something that I was regularly giving in a lot of hours to and then ending up getting a small amount. It was something I did as a one time job. It was done. I spent whatever time I spent and it's out of the way. The next time I'm doing the work, I'm not getting paid less. I'm getting paid for whatever work I'm accepting, which is new. But if that client were a long term client and that client would have said, no, I'm going to pay you, we'll continue with the same, but I'm going to give you a lot of work, I'm going to keep you busy, you're still going to get, say, 20K from me every month, I wouldn't take it up. Why wouldn't I take it up? Because I don't want to spend a year of work and time and writing and then get paid less for it. So I know that this is a very different kind of mindset to have, because normally you would think that, okay, if somebody is willing to have me for a whole year and is ready to give me work, why would I say no? I mean, wouldn't you rather accept long term projects for cheaper prices rather than going in for short term projects? But I would prefer short term, because they're out of the way and then I can find clients who pay me what I want. So I'm not stuck up, I'm not busy doing things that don't pay me enough, and I don't miss out on other opportunities which I could have gotten if I wasn't working so hard on this one thing that pays me less, right? So that's another thing that you could put in the mindset section, like how do you kind of think and how do you kind of place that in the negotiation side of things. So that's something I hope that could help. And yeah, and when it comes to some ridiculous things also are collaborations. I don't know what um, that really means, honestly. But I spoke to someone recently and they said they're a startup and they said we will do a collab. I said, what do you mean by a collab? And they said, you just get some, um, you just get some shares or something, or you can invest, like you get some percentage of the company, and when we reach profits you can make money. That sense, that's a very dicey game to play. I wouldn't do that yet, especially since a lot of my expenses here depend on this freelancing income. It's a critical income that I need at this point in life. So I wouldn't consider those kinds of deals. If that works for you, you can go with that. I have had people saying that they won't pay now, but 3 months later, if the content works, then they will pay. I don't do that either. I'm getting paid for whatever content I'm creating, not for the results. So if your result could be a viral post, your result could be anything. That's whatever it's going to be, but I'm still getting paid for the work. That's something you have to consider, whether you want to get paid right now. Do you want to take like an investment in their company or something like that? Do you want to uh, do some sort of barter, maybe even that works as well. Like if you're working with a website developer, you could have their help their help develop your website, and then you can write content for them, things like that. So those things you can work out the way you like them. And what else is there in negotiation? I mean, it's very difficult to tell you one way to really go with the whole negotiation process, because it's different for every single person. Largely depends on your financial situation. Here also it could be two ways. Either you're in a good financial position, so which means you're getting good amount of work and you're getting work that pays you well. So in that sense, you would prefer to still keep matching that bar and still keep, getting paid that much money. So that's one thing. Second thing is you are not in a good financial situation. So what you do is you take small projects and you work 10-15 hours every single day, because these are all small chunks of projects, and each one is paying you like say 5k 5k 5k. Instead of getting one client maybe that could have paid you 30k in the month, and you could have really you could have like worked probably 2 hours a day for this client and still got 30k a month. So again, these are things that you have to consider based on your situation. Your situation, mainly I would say financial situation, because that of course matters. For me, that's the most important right now. So I would expect that to be maybe the same for you too. So yeah, so that's also something you should consider. And again, every client is different, every client situation is different, every client is expecting something different. They can either reduce the price and then reduce the scope of work, or they will increase the scope of work. This is also a very good thing to do, by the way. So recently I'm still working with the client, so we have been working together since almost a year, and he's a very good client. All the payments are on time, and if I miss out on any invoice, he messages me like, I didn't get your invoice yet, send it to me right now. And if he extends the scope of work, then he always, he makes up for the price and things like that. So he's a very good client, an excellent client, and I really enjoy working with him. And so we had this particular monthly engagement, and he wanted to get some, I had offered a discount because we've been working long term, and I'm really happy working for him. So I had offered him a discount, and we kind of continued with that discount, which is supposed to be only for 2 months. We continued with that for almost 6 months because of the pandemic. Because I didn't want to, we both understood that, of course, that it would be difficult to increase right now. So we did not increase the cost at that point. But then at one point I told him that, can we reconsider the rates, because this was a 2 month thing. Now it's already been like 5 months, so can we reconsider it? What he did was he told me, I cannot really change this price right now, but what I can do is I can add some more tasks so that you get a bigger invoice. So then what we ended up doing was he gave me, so I was doing one particular thing for him. He gave me two more things, and then he paid me for those things. So in that sense, I'm doing more work. I'm getting paid more. My invoice for that month has increased now. I'm getting paid more. But I'm also doing proportionately more work, and that's fine. Because again, one thing about being in the service industry is that you have that liberty to be okay with like discounts. Because again, it's not a physical product. It's not something you have an expense exactly. It's something, your time. It's your time. It's your energy. It's you. It's you, your laptop, and your Wi-Fi basically. So you don't have that issue of profit margin or anything. So again, think of those things while you are negotiating with clients. If you can offer more work to get a bigger invoice, that is also good. So if you've quoted say 30k, and the client wants articles and let's say articles and some graphic designing, and you provide both of them. So you tell them 30k, and they say okay, 30k is our budget for articles. So what you do is you kind of blend that in. You kind of tell them, okay, if 30k is your budget only for articles, I can reduce from 10 articles to 8, and then I can give you these certain set of images within this same price. So again, do that bundling thing, do that, just kind of roll things around, see how it goes, and find the best offer that you can provide for yourself and for the client. So put both your interests in mind, especially now, because especially now it everyone's struggling to get payments, everyone's struggling to make money, businesses are shutting down, they don't even know what's going to happen next, so it's very difficult for them to pay. So especially now, it's good to value yourself and everything, but especially now, it's nice to also be compassionate, because people really they still want to market themselves, they still need customers and their audience to know who they are. So if you can help them in that sense, and you can offer a particular amount of discount, that would be something you could consider, and something that you could actually enjoy doing. It'll make you feel happy probably, because again, I have been doing some work on discount and I'm fine with it. It's a rare thing. That 2000 landing page copy is very, very rare. It happened once, I guess, But still, the point again is to understand what situations people are in, but don't let them exploit you. Don't let them use that and then tell you that, okay, I'll pay you after 3 months, I'll pay you after 6 months. Don't go in for all that. And one more thing, one more leverage you can have, if somebody is reducing your prices, is you can get 100% advance payment. So this is normally my policy. My policy for any amount is 100% advance, and all of my clients actually have agreed to it. But if you are someone who charges 50% or lesser as an advance, what you can do is, if you're giving a discount, you can tell them, okay, I can give you, say, a 10% discount, but then all payment, 100% payment has to be upfront. So that's it's just a way to get money, and just to have your invoices paid on time, while also offering the client a benefit of a discount. So that's again another trick. And one final trick that I don't think anyone would have thought of, and I'm really happy I thought of this. So I haven't I mean, I'm still working on this, but this is something I've started like doing for anyone who says that they have a long term work, so they want discount now and then they can pay me my original rates after 3 to 6 months. So in that case, what to do? So what happened is, a lot of times I considered that. So I was doing marketing for some clients, and I gave them like a 50% discount for the first 2 months. I said, okay, we'll go with this rate for the first 2 months. Okay. So 50% was a very significant discount. And then in the third month, we would make it either 100% or 120%, or we would increase basically. So I did the work for 2 months, and then the clients didn't renew. So when they didn't renew, I didn't get even the 100% that I was supposed to get afterwards. I lost out even on these 2 months because I only got paid 50-50 each month, and it didn't have any long-term benefit. So now something new I consider, and something new I've started doing is, if someone is working long-term, if someone says, okay, we're going to work with you for at least 6 months, so give us a discount. What I do is I tell them, you pay 100%, whatever I have said, or maybe a slightly negotiated rate. You pay that for the first 5 months. If you renew for the 6th month, then I will give you the overall discount of the 5 months together in the 6th month. So what this does is, it basically makes sure that you have, even if you were offering the discount for all 6 months, it makes sure you're still stuck with the client, because the client is paying you the full amount for each month, and then you will give the discount in the 6th month if they continue. So if they don't continue, even if they break it off somewhere, you still have a fairly negotiated rate that you're getting paid. And if they don't cut you off, then you have 5 months where you're getting paid completely, and in the 6th month you can offer them a discount as you have discussed. So again, this is, I don't know if anyone has ever thought of it. I felt like a very big genius when I thought of it. But it's just been a lot of issue, because everyone says that same thing, right? Everyone says that, okay, we'll do for 3 months, we'll do for 6 months, give us a discount. And I used to do it a lot. I have lost so many people because even though they stuck around for a few weeks and then they left, and then it wasn't good for any of us. I was very disappointed. Then my relationship wasn't good in the future with the client, because I always had that in my brain that, okay, no, they walked away when I gave them so much discount and they still walked away, kind of thing. So in that sense, yeah, you have to be clever. And this is exactly what I mean by, you have to find what works for you in every single thing, okay? Because right from negotiating, finding clients, marketing yourself, putting yourself out there, whatever it may be, everything you have to make it work in your own way, because what works for me may not work for you. And I would say that even in terms of when I talked about my to-do list, how I create a to-do list, and it's very different. It's not something I read somewhere. It's not something somebody told me that, okay, this is a method of creating a to-do list. I did it because it was just something that worked for me, and it helped me organize my day and my work. So whether it works for you, I don't know, but it worked for me. Again, the same thing there also. Like if even in terms of negotiation, if it works for you, use it. That's it. And you have to kind of find your own ways to make it work, because every client is different, your experience is different, and your skill set is different. When I say something, if I say, okay, you pay me for 5 months, and then in the 6th month I'll give you the 6th month free, or I'll give you the 6th month, I'll give you a discount or whatever, it may have a different impact than when you say it. And that's maybe because this is my way of doing things and that is not your way of doing things. You have a different way. So it's very important that you find that way, because then it'll be more natural and it's something that will actually work for you and actually, make a difference in whatever you're trying to do. So that's something, again, a lot to consider, honestly. So yeah, there's that. And I would say, like, overall, still trust your intuition, because your intuition is what is going to matter the most. Your intuition, if your gut says, even if you're getting paid in lakhs and your gut says that no, this does not seem right, just don't do it. um it's not a good experience. It's not a good, it just sticks around in your brain forever and you don't want that. So if you can go away from it, just walk away from it. And yeah, so I think that's it. Again, I didn't really have a structure or anything. I just wanted to talk about negotiation because we talk about it so much every single day. So now, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer the questions. And if there's anything I missed out, like if there's any particular kind of negotiation you want me to talk about, let me know. This is just something I had on the top of my head based on so many messages I've been getting for negotiation. So, based on that, Rais is asking how much we should demand per word to a price per word to a client. You should check my video about payments, about how much to charge as a freelancer. So pricing your services, there's an IGTV video, and I've spoken in depth about all the different kinds of ways you can charge and how much to charge, etc. You can check that out. Bhushan is asking, how can we attract clients to LinkedIn as a social media marketer? This is also in one of my IGTVs on how to find clients through LinkedIn, and that is for any and all professions. So you can check that out. That will work for you as well. Okay, questions. Hi Divya. Hello Vaibhav. So nice when you people just say hi. Okay. The cryptic soul just received a message of negotiation right now. Good. One of my clients messaged me. I don't know if my client is here online, but he messaged me. He follows this page and he messaged me, Shreya, you know that your clients can also see your lives, right? On negotiation. I said, yes. But I guess, I mean, everyone's a client, you know. I mean, they must be, I mean, they are my client, but then there's someone else who will be their client. Maybe it can help them as well. Where are the questions? How can we fix price if beginner? Krishna, if you're asking about how to decide how much to charge, again, I would lead you to my IGTV because I've spoken about it in depth. And if you're asking, like, just in terms of how to convince the client because you're a beginner, it's a process. In the initial stages, of course, the client may not be convinced, but you have to kind of go through it, work through it, and it's a process. Eventually, you'll find people who are convinced. So start with something and then you can build on from there. Kamya is asking how to build a contract for a client. For contract, I have shared a post. I'll share it on my story after this live. So there I've mentioned what exactly to mention in the contract. And I will do another live only on contracts because this is also actually something that I'm getting asked a lot, how to create contracts. But the basic thing is to just make sure that every single word in the contract makes sense and every single word is correctly written. There's a lot of difference in certain prepositions, so you should know those and understand exactly what is written in the contract so that there's no miscommunication. Nothing is vague, nothing is too broad. Everything has to be fixed. 10 articles, 5 posts, 5 images. Fix. Don't leave it as a, okay, monthly marketing, don't say that. Monthly marketing has 30 posts, 30 images, 30 articles. Write that down, be very clear. That's important. Mega is asking, is it wise to quote higher because most of the clients negotiate? This is a very good question, Mega. I'll tell you what it is. It is sometimes. It depends. Um, it depends again. I think this also comes from experience. Once you have spoken to enough people, you kind of realize whether this person is somebody you can quote high to or not. Sometimes I'll tell you, I understand, I look at people's profile and I think I don't really want to work with them. And in or they have just been a fussy client in the past, and they are back again after 6 months and they want something more. In that case, I quote higher, because I understand that working with them was not a good experience. And it's not just to it's not quoting high because they will negotiate, or quoting just for the sake of quoting. No, it's because I have seen the issues, and I don't, if I'm going to work with that client, and if I have to, be in that mental and physical and work state again, then I might as well, charge them for it. So in that sense, yes, you can quote higher. But be careful, because again, the negotiation part is tricky. You don't even want to scare the client away. And this actually happens in a good way also many times, because sometimes I quote, and it's very clear, like, the prospect says that, okay, I don't have a big budget, but can you tell me whatever you charge? Because I tend to ask the budget first. So they say, okay, can you tell me what you charge? And then I tell them, and then they're like, I'm sorry, Shreya, but my budget is really low compared to this, so I don't think we can work together. And in that sense, they also draw their own lines, because they understand um, that I'm a premium writer. They understand that I'm going to write a certain way, I'm going to charge a certain way. And if they cannot afford it, or if they do not want to spend on that right now, they just say that, okay, we'll come back to you next time, we appreciate your work, we understand, and we don't want to negotiate with you at all. We'll come back when we can pay you what you are asking for. So again, that's a different psychology itself. So if you end up quoting too high, and if the client is actually nice, and if they understand that, and um if they don't want to pay you less for your work, then no matter how much discount you give them later on, they won't budge on that, because they respect your work in a different kind of way, and then they won't want it for a discount. So you have to be very smart about that. Karthik, what to keep in mind when the client presents us with a contract? Read every single line. And actually, the best thing is to create your own contract. I do it myself. It's time consuming, but it's best because I know every single word I've written. And normally it's a template format, so I change a few things here and there, but everything is written by me. So that's fine. And NDA, if the client wants to sign an NDA, then they send it to me. And then I read it. Wanderers aboard. Hi Shreya, big time fan here. Thank you. Kamya is saying, could you please tell us how to build a contract for a client? Again, didn't I ask this? Okay. Shreya, could you please explain what are academic articles, as I have never written for this category before? I will not be explaining that now, since I am doing I'm talking about a different topic right now. Narmada is asking how to discipline ourselves to write daily. I know it's not about the topic, pardon me. Okay. How to discipline yourself? You just have to do it. I mean, I would actually, I would say that the gym, like I recently, the gym in my accommodation has opened up, so I've been going to the gym since this week, since Monday. And honestly, my entire thing of going to the gym is, I like that, that physical pain that's there after the workout session, because it shows like, okay, I've done something. And I know that I mean, sometimes I just don't want to go to the gym, although it's like right here. I just have to go 2 floors lower, and it's right there. But I still sometimes don't want to go at all. I don't want to enter, like I don't want to leave my room. But then I always think about the larger benefit, and I think about the benefits, and I know that if I keep going consistently to the gym, then yes, I'm going to see physical and mental changes. So that's something that kind of pushes me. So find what pushes you. Platforms other than LinkedIn to start freelancing? Mansi, any platform, honestly, even Instagram. I'm getting clients through this as well. The content buff. What can one do if a client asks for free samples and doesn't consider looking at the samples you have already provided them with? Um, you don't do the free sample. I know some writers, they do it if it's around 200 words for free. I don't do any sample for free, so that's something you could consider. So just charge for whatever you're working on. Megha is saying, should we let the clients share their budget first because they might be having a higher budget and we risk underselling ourselves? No, it depends. See, again, when I speak to a client, I normally do ask them the budget, and especially I do this for those who are not in a decision making position. So this what this does is, if somebody's not in the decision making position, then they kind of, if it's too high, they will be blunt and they'll tell you directly, and then they will walk away. So you know their budget and everything, and you're clear whether it works for you or not. But if it's someone else, if it's a decision maker, then they truly understand the value of your work and they know what they want and things like that, then you are not really risking it. Then whatever you are offering, whatever price you're offering, and then however they negotiate, it'll it'll probably be a good opportunity for you. Mainly because, again, decision makers are the people who will close the deal. So if you are, suppose you're quoting say 30,000, and maybe the client had a budget of say 35,000, you would probably think that you missed out on that 5,000 or 10,000, whatever it may be. But look at the other thing. Look that you've gotten the 30K that you quoted. Whatever you quoted, you've gotten. So don't think too much about underselling yourself. And another trick here would be that, if you quote some price to three people and all three agree to it, then you have to increase your price. So that's something you can do, and this is how you will know whether you're underselling yourself. So that's a way to figure it out. Kamya, when I quoted my price, one of my clients said that I need to do some editing and not to write the entire content, so I should charge less than the quoted price. But will it be fair at my part? See, fairness is a very big term to use, because honestly nothing is fair, nothing at all is fair. So we can't really say whether it's fair or not, fair to whom, fair when, fair how much, not really, not don't know. Um but if you are doing editing and if you're actually not writing the content, then yes, you can charge worth editing instead of writing the content. So charge worth whatever you're doing. And you can also ask them to first send the document, see how much editing you think is required, like just have a glance over, and then tell them that, okay, this is why I want to follow this price, this is why this is how much discount I can give you. So that's also something you can do. Because regardless of that, I will still be viewing the entire web content that I need to edit. So can I reduce the number of hours, and should I also mention that into the contract? This is very complicated. This is what I mean by it's not that easy, because again, I don't know exactly what the client wants, what's going on. I don't know. So I can't really quote. And if you're not writing, again, it's as simple as this. If you have quoted the price for writing the content and it's not writing, it's editing, then you mention that in the contract that you will not be writing or creating new content. It's only editing, and this is your editing price. And if at any section you are told to create content, then you say that this is my writing price and this is what you need to pay now. That's it. Get just change as per whatever you are working on. Could you please tell me what about is today's discussion? So I would ask similar questions. Sure, Rais. Today is about negotiation, how to negotiate with client, how to charge, how to deal with all of that. So you can ask some specific questions about that. Lohit Akshay is asking how to deal with a client who asks for few more one-line content after our said previous project is completed. How do I charge for such minor content after the big work? Again, depending on kind of the client, you can decide that. So if you're working for a client who has paid you like thousands and thousands, say 50,000, and then they're asking you to do something that would probably take 5 minutes or 10 minutes for you, then you could consider doing it, because to maintain a relationship. But if it's actually a lot of work, again, intuition, just trust your intuition. If you think you should be charging for it, charge for it. That's it. This is all very complicated. It's all about your relationship with your clients, who you really, how productive you are with your work, how much do you charge per hour, things like that need to be considered, and then you make a decision. You just don't want to end up losing out on a relationship either. So I understand that money is of course a very important part of the negotiation, but that's why I'm stressing on so many other things being a part of it, Your financial situation, yes. Money, yes. Getting paid worth your value, yes. But then there's a pandemic going on. There are startups who are bootstrapped, and they cannot really afford a certain kind of expense. Or some people just don't know what they want. They don't know how much they're supposed to pay content creators, and they're lost. So they need to be told that, okay, this is how much I charge, and this is why I charge so much. You have to explain about samples. You have to explain about revising your scope of work. You have to explain why you're charging for writing, why you're charging for editing, what's the difference between the two, what are you doing, what are you not doing. Everything has to be clear. As long as it's clear, and as long as you have a clear communication with the client and you both are on the same page, it's good enough. So whether I would do it doesn't matter, whether someone else would do it doesn't matter. You do what you feel is right, because again, you are the one working with the client. You are the one who has to maintain that relationship, get their work done, no matter how you feel about them. So just do it in a way that you have that mental peace with you, because that mental peace like kind of prevails over everything else. So yeah, that's important. Yeah, so a lot of things are important. So I guess that's all the questions today. So to sum it up, negotiation, trust your instincts. Honestly, this is like the number one thing you should do. If you feel comfortable negotiating, do it. If you don't feel comfortable negotiating, don't do it. That's it. That's as simple as that. And even in terms of negotiating, how much to negotiate, things like that, you have to consider, if you negotiate now, and you could be working with like 10 different clients on negotiated prices, or instead you could not work. You could keep creating content, working on your skills, writing, marketing yourself, doing all that, and then finding this one client who will pay you worth all these 5 6 people, or maybe even 3 people instead of 5, but you are just working for one person. So in that sense, try to get somebody who can give you a big invoice as a one person, as one client, rather than getting small chunks from the entire world. So that is also something that has a lot to do with your mindset and how you want to do it that way. Some more questions. Clients are always asking for samples. How much words are enough for sending a sample? Just do a task for them, charge them for whatever it is. Sample, normally instead of giving a sample, like if I'm supposed to be writing an article, instead of giving a sample, I say that, okay, for the first article, we'll work on one article first, and then we can decide for the rest of the month. So then I just work on one article and I charge for that. That's it. The same client has told me that he would like me to create content for the social media for the same website that will be promotional content. Should I build contract each time? Yes. If it's a monthly thing, then see, again, contracts are not something I make for every client. Normally, if clients prefer that, and if there's a lot of scope of work, a lot of things happening, I create contracts. Other than that, everything is on email, everything is written, everything is approved in writing. That's it. That's what matters the most. That's what I mean when I say that the understanding is between you and the client. So as long as you both are not vague about the scope of work and what you are supposed to do, then it's all good. If you can work without a contract, that's fine as well. Just make sure you have everything in writing, and preferably over something like email, so that it's easier to find. And that's kind of it. So yeah, so that's all for the session today. And I hope I'm not stretched out today. I don't know. Otherwise I go back and I see the video and I'm all. But yeah, and also thank you guys so much for all your comments on the latest meme that I made. That was pretty cool. So yeah, that was a very spur of the moment kind of thing. But it was fun to make, and I checked back on Instagram so many times yesterday to see, what you guys were thinking about it. So yeah, thank you so much for that, and take care. And I hope the session like helped you out. Again, a very chit chatty session here. Hope this helped you out, and you can DM me if anything, and you will see me in the next live session, probably on Saturday. So wait, Saturday is tomorrow? No, Saturday, whenever Saturday is. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, and see you, and bye bye.